Hey guys, Stephen Chilcote of Stephen Chilcote Forestry. I just wanted to point out a couple of things about this food plot. One is that I've got an electric fence around it, and I think everybody's heard of these electric fences by now. I've been using them for a long time to keep deer at bay for a while till my forage can grow up to a point where it can withstand some browse pressure. Anytime you put in good forage in a place where there's no ag, like back in here in the woods, the deer just hammer it. They won't let it alone, and it just can't mature into any kind of a decent plant. So we got them fenced out. It's working pretty good. It's a 3-wire deal with a low voltage transformer. It works by solar power. Very cheap to put up. It only took me and the landowner about 2 hours to put all this together. So, and I'd say it's about $500 worth of materials to do an acre. So we have an acre here that when we started out, it kind of looked like this. There's a lot of thick pine and damaged red maple, things like that, and mostly ferns in the understory. So there really wasn't any food and cover for wildlife. This food plot feeds a lot of deer. Besides this plot, I have a clover plot to make up for when this one, being an annual plot, is fenced out. When I rolled up here, there was several turkeys and 2 big fat does feeding in there. It's 1:30 in the afternoon, so they're always in there, and it gives them somewhere to forage while this is getting up and growing. I don't know if you can see it, but there's still a little bit of wheat left over from last fall, and a bunch of grass and other native plants coming up in here, which is okay because I drilled through all that and put a mixture of cowpeas, red clover, chicory, and sunflowers in there. They're about, I see some there that they're doing pretty well. They're about 3-4 inches tall. It is July the 7th. So by fall, we'll take this fence down. We should have a really nice stand of forage that'll draw deer all through the fall for hunting. Now the other thing I wanted to point out was, on a deal like this, we're in the Ridge and Valley region in Pennsylvania. So Ridge and Valley in Pennsylvania is where you have limestone soils out in the farmland, and then in the ridges it's all sandstone. So basically what we have is it's pretty much sandstone rock with just a little bit of sand and clay in between the rocks. So you can't grow forage like you can out in the farm fields. But we can get a pretty good stand of forage out here, especially clover. Clover comes in fairly decent. Wheat does extremely well in this ground. We cleared about 1.5 acres here, and the idea is to put perennials in one field and annuals in the other. That way we always have our fields taken care of and provide summertime forage for deer, and always have an alternative, like I said before. The other thing I want to point out is that everybody, especially these landowners, they want to, I don't know if you can see this tree here. You might be tempted to put a tree stand right there, but I can tell you that once the sun comes up around here and the air starts to move, it's going to swirl around the opening. It'll swirl around and around. So if you're sitting in that tree stand, your scent will cover that food plot, and deer will smell you. They'll associate danger with the food plot, and they'll wait till after dark to come. So what you want to do is try to, in this particular property, it's very rectangular. It goes up the mountain. There's good thick bedding up that way, and it's very deep. There's a lot of good cover since we harvested up through there. There's good ground cover going all the way up the mountain, and it runs into state land. So you can stack deer all the way up that hill. There's secluded places for bucks to bed down. We do get some pretty nice bucks coming down here to feed. So you want to locate your food plots not where necessarily your best soil is, but where you can hunt it effectively. So it's easy on this property to get between the forage and the bedding. There's going to be a lot of does and small bucks bedded down along a creek that's over that way in warm, especially in warm weather. And I think that any big bucks in this area are going to be secluded. They're going to be up on the mountain. So it's easy to pick a place that, especially in staging areas, you can set those up between the bedding and the forage. Maybe get down near water, but you want to stay back off of these destination food plots if you can. I know it's tempting to watch a food plot because you always see deer in them, but if you want a big buck, you're better off getting back away from them. So yeah, because it's absolutely impossible to keep your scent from swirling around in here. Now if you do your scent proofing every day, if you have access to a place to wash, scrub yourself down really good, take care of your clothes really well, you might be able to get away with it, especially if you have a steady wind. But most of the time I recommend staying away from your destination plots. Put a small forage area or water hole up near the bedding, especially if you have dry bedding like you do here. If you had a water hole and a little bit of clover chicory maybe, and some minerals up the hill a ways, that would be a better place to watch for a buck. So I guess that's about it for this. I'll go in, if I can keep from getting shocked, we'll go in and see if we can. There's a little bit of wheat. Okay. All right, so here's a cowpea. There's a lot of native stuff in here. Some clover, wildflowers. Trying to find some of this other stuff. Cowpeas do really well, especially in hot weather. They're coming in nice. And they withstand browse extremely well. They'll bounce back from feeding. This is what you have to watch out for, is thistle. And this is the first year thistle, and then next year it'll bolt and go to seed. You have to keep them from going to seed, and you never get ahead of them. And they're tough to kill. I don't necessarily like wiping out all this native stuff because deer do feed on it, and I don't want to bare the soil. You see the rocks. Trying to find some sunflowers, but there's some red clover coming. That was in the seed mix. Hopefully the sunflowers will make it. There's a chicory. That was in the mix. So I think we're generally going to have a nice field of cowpeas in about a month here. There's a sunflower. For some reason they aren't making it like I thought they would, but hopefully they'll make flowers and they'll be 5 foot tall, nice and big in the fall. But the cowpeas are making it. I'm sold on cowpeas. Now this fall I'll put in. I'll just spin it on. I'll put in a mixture of winter peas, winter wheat, some oats probably, and brassicas. Generally, I like to use T-Raptor with tillage radish. Tillage radish does really well around here. I had a beautiful stand of it when we first dozed this off. That's what I put in the middle of September. By the middle of October, I had knee-high leaves in here, and the deer just chewed it right down in the mud. Turned out pretty good. Right now we have a very diverse cover here, so with all the rain we've had, it's been tough to get anything to grow. We either have drought or we have way too much water. It looks like a trout stream coming down this hill sometimes when it's raining. But things have leveled off a little bit. My nutrient levels are great. My pH is probably too high. So I generally want to get as much planted here as possible, get a lot of plants sucking those nutrients out. I'm a little high on phosphorus. And hopefully the pH will straighten itself out once I get a good biosphere going in the soil here. Alright, well, there's a sunflower. I see one. I don't know. They're not making it that well. We'll see what it turns out to be in September. I'll try to keep you posted on this field. It's been a real struggle here with the weather. So, alright, that's about it for today, and I'll see you next time.
Be sure and hit the like and subscribe button and click on the bell so you'll be notified when there's a new video. And comment down below and let me know if there's anything you'd like to know more about.